Adam, I really appreciate you joining me today to talk about the Bay Area Digital Government Summit. The reason I wanted to interview you is because you've been so actively involved in both the conference as a presenter, as a moderator, and also on the advisory board. It's such an important role to help build the content so that it's most relevant to you and also to your teams. And
Yeah.
I know that you made a big change this year. So, or
Yes.
it's been about a year. So can you
Yeah.
introduce yourself, talk about your new role, how it's going for you?
Sure. Yeah. So I am now serving as the CIO slash IT director for the city of Santa Clara. That I came over last August and did a bit of a transition through the end of the year, and then so kind of starting with the beginning of this year, taking the reins for the responsibility and running of the show. And it's been, it's been a really great adventure into learning a very different IT design and environment. The city of Santa Clara outsources a large majority of its IT services. So managing IT here means managing a lot of the vendors and their delivery. And that is not a traditional design within the
Mhm.
government sector of things. And so it's a great both learning opportunity as well as challenge.
Well, congratulations. It's a big job. It's a lot of change, and
Yeah.
I have no doubt that they've got the right person.
Well, thank you.
So I know that you've been involved in the Bay Area Digital Government Summit for many years now, and I wonder if you can share with us what you think, why you think it's important that public sector IT leaders from across the region get together and collaborate.
Yeah, the I've learned over the years the IT space within the government sector definitely is its kind of unique environment of where almost all of us see the same challenges, and yet it's often at a different time or a different cadence or a different budget level or different uh, government structure of things. And so it's this tough thing of where there is always this notion of we should all collaborate and share resources. And we've
Yes,
tried that many times. And the big challenge is we all might feel the same problem, but we all aren't at the same place to be able to do something about it. And it's often hard to get that aligned. And so what's really nice about conferences like this is you get to learn through others, hear from others, and just kind of both collaborate, grow, and commiserate, and effectively do some of that, information sharing that you just don't find the time for otherwise.
exactly. We are so involved in our day to day that I don't think there's a lot of opportunity to get together. And I think that's one of the things that's unique about these conferences. I know we're going to talk more about this when we do meet for the advisory board, but
Yeah.
in this moment, what do you think about some of the key themes that you are seeing that you think are important this year?
Yeah, certainly the number one that everyone is going to bring up is either going to be AI or cybersecurity. Like they're
Right.
always they're the competing one and two. And and so I think, like where I've certainly learned and grown a lot in coming to the conferences is getting some understanding of where everyone else is at. And it's great because everyone's often in a different place. And so you get to learn through some of those experiences and try and apply it to where is your city right now in terms of either tolerance for implementation of AI related solutions or in terms of budget and time capacity around some of the cybersecurity efforts that need to happen.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's almost like you kind of get to pick and choose after having some of the conversations, like, "Ooh, I like that, and I think we can do this piece," and like, "Ooh, I
Hmm.
like that, we can do that," and also, it gives you some good ammunition for coming back to working with your leadership team to say, hey, this is what's going on elsewhere. We need to spend money to catch up, or we need to be aware of it so that we're prepared for when we're ready to take it on.
Exactly. And when we talk about AI, there's a lot of different like angles or perspectives, right? AI is a catchphrase, but it's covers so many things.
Yeah.
What is your team most focused on in the AI realm? Are you using it for?
Yeah, and it's touching a lot of things. So, I think the direct day to day right now is trying to create a safe space for everyone to feel comfortable in using it as an assistant.
Okay.
That's the across the board. From
Hmm.
the administrative assistant to the Parks and Recs employees. Like there's always something that you can gain by either asking a question or soliciting feedback through AI that gives you a perspective or
Hmm.
even a solution offering that you can immediately use, from
Hmm.
designing how you should design your calendar to can you help clean up this email?
Hmm.
That's the across the board trying to create that baseline. And then the other piece is keeping up with all the various changes and offerings that are just a constant right now and evolving. What was a cool solution set that a vendor was providing 6 months ago might be out of date. And so it's trying to keep up with that pace, but also matching it against government speed.
Hmm.
Like, government speed can't keep up with a lot of these pieces. So trying to find those right partnerships is exceptionally difficult.
You make an excellent point. And earlier in the conversation, you said that you're working in a model where you're partnering with industry partners a lot more than in your prior role. And so I wonder if you can say why you think it matters for industry partners who might be watching this and considering whether or not to come and sponsor the event. Why do you think?
Well, certainly you're going to get decision makers in a room that you're just
Mhm.
not going to otherwise. And this event really is consolidated around those higher level CIO, director, senior manager individuals. And because it's such a small group in a tight window, you're getting face time that you're probably not going to get at some of the other conferences.
Mhm. I think our smaller concentrated format helps with that too, because it's not like the huge multi thousands of people conferences. You don't always know who you're talking to or who you're going to get an opportunity to connect with.
And to be quite honest, the vendor presentation, both either in terms of the topics or just the tables that they have, is smaller in scope. And
Hmm.
so there isn't as much opportunity for the attendees to get overwhelmed. Like it gives
Hmm.
you a bit better chance to get to talk to the few selected ones that do attend.
Hmm.
I would compare it to MISAC, where MISAC is an exceptional conference and gives you visibility to everything in the IT sphere.
Hmm.
That can be a bit daunting, certainly as a senior leader, to go, which of these 110 vendors do I go talk to? Um, and that works out okay, but that's a bit different than from what this conference offers, where it's tight enough that you have an opportunity to talk to, if not all, a good chunk of
Hmm.
the vendor space.
It feels more like a think tank, if you will.
It feels like the it's right sized. I know it's a buzzword, but right sized for individuals coming to that event. Like it's the right vendors and the right scale to create the opportunity to get an understanding of, is there some things that I'm missing out on that can be provided by these organizations?
Exactly. And putting on your advisory board uh, hat, what do you think are some key takeaways that you would hope attendees would walk away with this year?
Well, I think certainly it's going to be important to get a sense of where is everyone at in the AI space and lessons learned. I think that there's been a lot of aspirational historically, and we're at the place now that there's tool sets that are now either available or already in use that weren't a year ago or
Mhm.
2 years ago that make a meaningful difference.
Mhm.
Just recently, the one area that everyone has been struggling on the public sector side is there's specific accessibility laws that are going into effect this month
Mhm.
that were daunting when looking at it from a manual perspective. And there's now an AI tool that we're leveraging in Santa Clara, and I know other cities are, that just pretty much flips a switch.
Oh,
And you
that
just
is
go, oh,
incredible.
okay, our website, all of our PDFs in our website are now 99% of them are accessible. And that's simply because of AI. Um, and that's almost kind of the ideal solution set for a city because we
Mhm.
don't have a lot of time certainly to develop on our own, and certainly investigating can be difficult. And when you find something where peers have put it in place and you can line it up, like we went from don't have it to in place within a few weeks.
That's a game changer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then one of the things you must be interested in hearing about from our sponsors is what are their new embedded AI tools? Because you mentioned you don't always know what they are. They're constantly being added. There's so many vendors. How do you keep up with that?
As well as I think an important message is how are you going to stay on top of it for the near future? Because
Hmm.
what we can't do is this worked for 6 months, but now there's a different vendor we have to lean on because they're slightly more advanced for the next 6 months and the next 6 months. Like I want to get an understanding of your rough roadmap because I know it's actively evolving as we go along, but how
Hmm.
are you looking to stay on top of it versus just solution offer jumping
Hmm.
from one to the other?
Hmm. Is there anything else that you'd like to say or talk about regarding the conference?
This conference has consistently been the one conference that everyone makes time for. Like I
Ah,
when I look for getting a chance to get to see a lot of my CIO peers, this is the one where historically I've been able to count on a good 80% of them attending. And that is incredibly meaningful and important.
well, thank you so much. That is gold. I appreciate you taking the time